Barbara Parker. I ask that at this time that all other panelists turn their cameras off. And City Attorney Parker, please turn your camera on. And before I begin, administer your oath. I'd like to make sure that you can hear me. So Barbara, can you hear me?
I can, and my camera's on.
Thank you very much. I see you and I can hear you as well.
Okay.
So upon administering the oath of office, you will affirm by saying, I do. And can you please raise your right hand?
I have it raised. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am. I can see it. Thank you.
Usually it'd be further to the right.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California, and the Charter of the City of Oakland, and will truly and to the best of your ability perform the duties of City Attorney, City of Oakland?
I do.
Thank you so much and congratulations. And at this time, you will have 5 minutes to give remarks.
Now this is weird. That's my photo and not my face. Do you guys have my live face? Because on my screen, I'm just seeing a photo.
We can still see your face too as well. It's both.
Right. So greetings and happy 2021 to everyone. 8 years ago, I stood before you and took the oath of office for my first term as Oakland's city attorney, Oakland's elected city attorney, and the first African-American woman elected to citywide office with an equal measure of humility and awe. Today, as I begin my third term as Oakland's elected city attorney, I'm excited and honored to continue my work on Oakland's behalf. I ran for re-election for a third term because I'm committed to continuing my work to ensure economic, social, environmental, and racial justice, and importantly, equity. I have many irons in the fire and want to see them through to fruition. So I just want to give you some highlights of what we're doing and what we've done and what I'm excited about continuing. One, we have our lawsuits and our legislation protecting tenants' rights and fighting for housing justice, including the emergency moratorium on evictions during COVID-19, the Fair Chance Access to Housing Ordinance, the Tenant Protection Ordinance amendments, our work for affordable housing that has brought nearly 200 new units to Oakland, and numerous pending lawsuits to protect tenants by going after abusive landlords. Two, we have our lawsuits and our legislation fighting for environmental and racial justice and equity. This ranges from fighting local polluters like a debris hauling company in West Oakland that discharged dangerous dust into the residential neighborhood. From that, we have also the battle to address climate change. Global fossil fuel titans have destroyed our environment and we're going after them. We call them big oil. And we're also continuing our fight in court to ban coal at Oakland's port. Three, we're working to fight human trafficking and protecting public health and safety in many ways. We shut down 25 massage parlors that were fronts for human trafficking, and we recovered approximately $1 million. And we are suing pharmaceutical manufacturers for promoting opioid addiction and dependence that disproportionately harms Black Oaklanders. Our work on police accountability and reform, and including reimagining policing, is critical as well. I personally worked on the legislation that created the Police Commission and the CPRA in 2016. And then I worked on the legislation to expand the commission's independence and powers. I endorsed it, I supported it, and as a result of its passage, both the commission and the CPRA can now, in compliance with the charter, independently hire their own attorneys. Our work fighting racial discrimination and securing equity includes prosecuting Wells Fargo for predatory, discriminatory mortgage lending practices against Black and Latinx borrowers. And we also won a minimum wage lawsuit against an Oakland hotel for violations of Oakland's minimum wage ordinance. Our work supporting the incredible people who toil every day for the city of Oakland to serve all of our residents and neighbors continues on a day-to-day basis as we provide excellent legal advice and counsel and defend the city when it's sued. This last year, we justly resolved nearly 3/4 of claims and 79% of lawsuits for $0, and only 2.6% of lawsuits resulted in payouts of $100,000 or more. But we're not stopping there. There's so much more work to be done, and I'm eager to lead that work. In my third term, I look forward to building our housing justice initiative, which we launched in 2020 to expand our work to secure housing justice and affordable housing. And I look forward to continuing to expand our affirmative litigation practice to protect and advance the rights of all Oaklanders. This division includes our community lawyering and civil rights unit and our award-winning neighborhood law corps. And we have prosecuted and are continuing to prosecute many groundbreaking and important lawsuits against those who harm or would seek to harm our communities, our rights, our democracy, and our planet. But I do not do this work alone, and none of us does this work alone. And I do want to, at this moment, tell you how much I appreciate and express my heartfelt gratitude to all of those who have given me the opportunity to do this work and provided me this honor. Thank you, Oakland voters, for your affirmation and your faith in me and for this opportunity. I received more than 80% of the more than 175,000 votes that were cast. Thank you to my lean, mean city attorney team. I want to express my gratitude and appreciation to the attorneys and support staff for their hard work and their commitment. My presence on this virtual stage is a tribute to you. I want to thank my parents who are no longer in this realm, James Parker Sr. and Savannah Parker, who have left for, I hope, a better world that they're in, for their extraordinary sacrifice, their love, the values and goals they instilled in me and my three siblings. They have guided me and continue to inspire and motivate me every day. I must also acknowledge and thank my daughter, Savannah, and my grandson, Coda Bear, who is 9 years old. They are extraordinary in every way. Savannah, her son, Coda, my second grandson, KJ, who was born in April during the pandemic, and her husband drove down from Seattle to support me and be present on Election Day. Thank you to my dear siblings, Betty Parker, Josephine Parker, and my brother, Dr. James Adam Parker, for being a constant source of support and encouragement. To my nieces, nephews, cousins, and the Parker and Peoples clans across the country, my Delta Sigma Theta sisters, and my dear friends who have traveled this life with me, thank you for supporting me and keeping it real, always telling me the truth. And I must thank my stellar campaign consultant, Doug Lenny, and his team, and everyone who has worked on my campaigns for their efforts and trust. Finally, I also want to thank the mayor, the council, the city administrator, the city administration, the people of Oakland for our partnership in the groundbreaking and progressive work that we have done together and on behalf of the people of Oakland. I was honored to receive the endorsement of the majority of the council and our mayor, a broad cross-section of other local officials, state elected officials, labor, civil rights, tenant, and environmental groups. So as I stand here today, I have a deep appreciation of the magnitude of the responsibility of this office, which is especially consequential during these unprecedented times as we grapple with a worldwide pandemic, America's reckoning with systemic racism and the Black Lives Matter movement and the need for police accountability and reform, and the urgency of addressing the existential threat of climate change. This pandemic magnifies the disparities and inequities resulting from systemic racism, poverty, and the legacies of African enslavement in this country. It has laid bare the necessity of recognizing that housing and healthcare are human rights. As a result of the Black Lives Matter movement and the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others at the hands of police officers, our larger society is reckoning with, and we have the opportunity. I think this is an extraordinary and special moment that we must seize to address racial injustice, systemic racism, and to reimagine policing. I and members of our team are excited about the opportunity to work with the city administration and the task force on reimagining policing. Recognizing the gravity of our circumstances and the sacred trust that the voters have placed in me and all of us as elected officials, I pledge that I will do all I can to right the ship and to seize the opportunities to take strides toward making economic, social, racial, and environmental justice reality. Finally, I recognize that we greet this new year with mixed emotions. We rejoice because in about 2 weeks, Trump's lawless tenure will end and we'll have grown-ups, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, taking office. Grown-ups who have empathy and compassion and care about the people of Oakland and this country and our world. But regardless of what occurs at the federal level, I believe it is our responsibility to rededicate ourselves to fight for and champion the America we all cherish. At moments like these, and unfortunately, there have been a number of such moments during the last 4 years and even the last 4 days when I feel dispirited. I remind myself that my parents, grandparents, ancestors fought against what appeared to be insurmountable odds to abolish slavery, to end legalized segregation and Jim Crow, and to secure voting rights, sacrificing their very lives for the causes of freedom and justice. So in their memory, and to honor them, we must join together to continue the fight to preserve our freedoms and secure justice. Together, I have no doubt that we can and will rise to the challenge. The voters and the votes that elected me were a vote of confidence, I believe, in the work of my office and our steadfast integrity. I look forward to rolling up my sleeves and working to make our great city even better. Thank you, Oakland. Onward.
Thank you so much.